pronunciation right?
That's fine. Okay.
Jingme Penso Sevla Kujan Sar Kanda Jojo Dongon Jidina Desalomar Jura Kansata Thunder Dombi Juji Sharmi Sembrando Deda Dhamjen Darshaji Namo Arya Tambal Haike Danlo Jinke Trum Dandam Meke Nam Dando Kunji Darkes Tamche Kede Chujan Tujurji. Okay, so we're going to prayer 3 times on English, the 4 immeasurable bodhicitta. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversion that keeps them close and the other distant. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome, everybody. May I have the papers, please? So today, this evening, we are going to explanations about the 4 immeasurable bodhicitta teachings. So this teaching, I think, is important to understand for everybody. Doesn't matter you are religious followers or non-religious followers. I mean, it doesn't matter you are traditional or non-traditional followers. Especially, of course, no matter you are Buddhist or non-Buddhist. But I think these, we're going to explanations will be important for everybody. The main reason because, as you know, all the sentient beings completely same like us. They also want to experiencing happiness and enjoyment. Nobody want to experiencing unpleasant feelings and sufferings. That not only human beings, I'm saying all the sentient beings. So, which means is actually the sentient beings number we cannot count. Sentient beings can exist countlessly, boundlessly, but the boundless sentient beings, we can divide it into the 6 kind of different realm beings. Probably you also believe about that. Which is 3 unfortunate lower realm beings are hell realm beings, hungry ghost realm beings, and animal realm beings. These are the 3 we say unfortunate lower realm beings. Why we are calling that these are the three unfortunate realm beings? Because they are not just born there body automatically and body causelessly. They are born unfortunate lower realm. Their previous misdeed action, the negative karma or non-merits as too strong, have no much chance to accumulation of merits and virtues. So therefore, and unfortunately, they are reborn unfortunately lower realm. Not only just they are born unfortunate lower realm, but on top, of course, they are to experiencing more suffering. For example, being who unfortunately reborn in the hell realms, and they are mainly suffering with heat and cold during hundreds of years, thousands of years. Sometimes takes long kalpas, to be free from low realm, unfortunate low realm. And a being who unfortunately, if reborn in the hungry ghost realms, those hungry ghost realm beings are mainly suffering with hungry and suffering with thirsty, not only one day, 1 week only, 1 month only, but many years, during hundreds, sometimes takes long of thousands years, So these are this is the hungry ghost. And then is the another one unfortunate realm beings, we say being who are unfortunately reborn in the animal realms. That we know animal realms most how they're going. Mainly they are suffering with mental stupidity, blindness, mind, and those animals are suffering with eating each other's, killing each other's, and many animals they are used by the humans forces having not freedom at themselves. So that is we calling unfortunately lower realm beings, right? And then another three upper fortune realm beings, the fortunate or upper realm beings, are human realm beings, God realm beings, and semi-God realm beings. These are the three we say fortune realm beings. Why we calling fortune? Because they are fortunately freedom at the moments reborn unfortunately lower realms. Because they also previous virtuous deeds is enough, quite good enough, the merits and the virtuous actions or the positive actions, and very little, they accumulated non-merits, and on top of these virtues, they're having the aspiration, dedication prayers for reborn higher fortune realm over and over, and finally when they needed the actual cause and the actual conditions completed, and then the end finally they will be born in the higher fortune realm. So that not only just reborn in the higher fortune realm, but they are, this we know, we are one of these fortune three realm beings, because we are human realm beings, we know. So those beings are, they have more long life, more healthy life, and more peaceful life, and more relaxation, and more comfortable, So that is why we say fortune realm beings. But doesn't matter, since from the lower unfortunate lower realm until the peak of the gods, upper realm beings are all actually including in samsara. Samsara is a Sanskrit language, but in Tibetan we say korwa. Literally on English, maybe cyclic existent, So being who born in this circulation, cyclic existent and samsara, and them, as it doesn't matter what kind of the situations, but having some problems is always around us, because that is samsara. But not always samsara is so bad, completely. Still, we're having many opportunity chance to do purifications, to collection merits. We have opportunity chance to practice with patience, practice with the generosity practice. We have chance opportunity to learning about the educations. We have chance opportunity to make something is the generator of the compassion and loving kindness, pure motivations, many things we can do, So therefore, that is a fortune realm. Even samsara, but it's a fortune realm. So we are lucky, we are really fortunate, one of these. If you ask, according to the point, this kind of traditional way, which is the most of one precious of these 6 kind of different realm beings? And then my answer says the human birth, the human realm beings are most, the human body is most one of precious. We said this human birth is very, very difficult to obtain, to found this precious human body, like more rare than the wish to found the wish fulfilling jewel. You know, beginning is difficult to find the wish fulfilling jewel, and difficult to recognize which is wish fulfilling the jewel, and more hard to understand how to use the wish fulfilling jewel for fulfilling of your wish. But the end can fulfill as your temporary moment wish. That is a wish fulfilling jewel. But this human birth is more rare, more difficult to obtain the precious of this human birth, you know. But also difficult to recognize precious as precious, and more hard to know how to use this precious human body for benefit yourself and for benefit other sentient beings, you know. But the end, when we found hard to find, when difficult to recognize, we hard to understand how to use for benefit, but the end we understand how to use, and that this precious human body can fulfill completely as your wish for this life and for next rebirth again. Not only could fulfill as your wish alone, but on top you could fulfill other sentient beings' wish gradually, you know, can do benefit. So that is why we believe very much that the human birth is the human body is of most one precious than other beings, you know. So that is why we have to, you know, recognize, we should be recognized how we are wonderful, how we are lucky, you know. Not only just we are born in the human realm, but we are having the red place, because you have chance, opportunity to meet holy teachers, holy teachings, holy lineages, or different the holy cultures, you know, holy religions, or so on and so forth. The different, each person you have different karmic connections to linking to some traditions. That also is very opportunity, you know, the chance, opportunity. And not only, but on top also we needed the 5 or the 6 human faculties completed everybody, you know, as we are healthy, as that's very lucky and fortunate. And on top, also is most one opportunity, we're having freedom. I think as most of you, I'm sure, you have freedom. What you like, you can do practice. What you like, you can do meditate. For example, so today is everybody freely, I think, is joining of these lectures. That means is we are very lucky, we are really fortunate, you know, freedoms. So this kind of precious human body, sometimes we say the 18 qualities, with the 8 freedoms, and with the 10 endowments, and total is there's 18 qualities. That is the most precious human birth. It's like more precious than wish fulfilling jewel. So that is, we are very lucky. So therefore now we're not enough only just satisfaction with this precious human body, but we need to understand the impermanence of this life. Also important, you know. Our life is impermanence. Not only our life, but every phenomena, the component phenomena apparent are impermanence, of course, inchangeable object, and especially in this human body, is difficult to obtain but easily can lost, you know. So therefore, we need to remember the impermanence. It's very important. Because why I'm talking about important to remember the impermanence, of course, everybody you know is that the death is 100% sure. Sooner or later, it will be coming up after the birth, you know. Nobody want to die, but nobody can stop the death. That is, we know, clear. But the problems we feel, looks like we are our life is very stable, like Mount Meru, like more strong, something our life is nature feeling. Because we organizing preparation, many things about of this life for hundreds years, for thousands of years, it looks like, you know, but that is not true actually, you know. Is this life is can be the death is suddenly appears very, very possible in this week, in this month, on this age, on this year. So why not, you know? So already is we learned many things from some is already dead, pass away, more younger than you, of your friend or your people or some. Some already pass away as the same age of you. Some is older than you, they pass away. So there's no certainty 100% become old to everybody, you know. So this tells us is the life is impermanence, whether we like or not, but that's true. So we must be in the truth, focus on the truth, because this can support to us immediately to do something benefit for yourself, immediately start to benefit to other beings. That means, otherwise, this precious human body, we have opportunity chance to fund one stem, but we're wasting a normal way, and then that suddenly appears death. That times we will be disappointed and regret, empty hand, to live without any positive merits or karmas or so forth. And then it will be a little bit, sad. So that is why if you're thinking about impermanence, and this leading us immediately, our body and speech, our heart, into the positive actions. So that is why I'm saying, just remind to you, I'm sure you know already, of course, but just a reminder to you is we need to thinking about impermanence. So now at the end, the questions, if sure we know as coming will be sooner or later death, but what is the benefit, what is the good when there appears the death? Who can support to us for the fear, the panics of the death and the suffering of the death? And who can us giving refuge? Something is for freedom, next immediate rebirth from low realms. And who can support to us again reborn and the higher fortune in the human or God realms and so forth? There are quite many questions, Then some of you say, oh, I have so many monies. I did credit during my past 40 years, 50 years, I've collected so many monies I have on the bank, So, but it's good in this life. But during the death, even money not follow you. Even one coins, we cannot carry us with to the next rebirth. That's very clear, not possible. And some of you say, oh, I have so many relatives, so many friends, so many children, so many people, the friend around me. But it's good, very nice, lucky you in this life. But I'm talking during the immediate when they appear in the death. That moment is they also cannot follow us. We cannot bring to with us in next moments of death. It's not possible. Even if the moments you say, I have the, great, this precious human body, I'm still very young, I'm very healthy, or I'm very handsome, or maybe I am very beautiful, something is good, lucky, fortunate, that's also good karma. But during the death, must be this precious human body also separate or leave behind, cannot carrying to the next rebirth, cannot follow us to the death. That's 100% very clear, right? So, now only whether you like or not, exception one, follow us to the next rebirth. These can support or harming, which means is the imprint of your past action stored on the stream of your mind. Your imprint of your past action is as merits the positive actions, and these can help support to you for during the death and during the immediate next rebirth and leading us a higher realm and will be stopping falling unfortunately low realms. These can benefit us life after of another life. Not only benefit in this life, but on top of this life benefit and but to next rebirth also too. But unfortunately, if we accumulated non-merits, negative actions, loads, and very, very later chance accumulated merits and during this precious human life. And then this also follow us to the next rebirth and will be harming during the death and during the immediate rebirth. So unfortunately, sometimes it can be leading into unfortunate low realm, just the next rebirth. So therefore, we need to understand right now, start to training one's own mind. We need to training one's own mind. Which means is we need to find the most important essence of our life. We need to find the most important meaning of our human value of the human birth. What do you think? What is the most important essence or the meaning of our life? I'm sure it's actually is everybody, we're doing something activities since after mother's birth until now, day and night, during 24 hours. But almost each person different actives, But the main key point is, I think, the same. Doesn't matter Eastern, Western, or something is which language, which colors, or which traditions, it doesn't matter. The aim is purpose is only one, which is to be attainment, happiness, enjoyment, and to find a way from the fear of suffering and the panics and the obstacles, to move the obstacles. That I think is 100% sure everybody same. Not only human beings, even a small animal, insect. If they can answer to us our question, they understand, I'm sure they also said they're searching happiness, enjoyment, and they try to far away from suffering and the obstacles. That's clear. So now, in this way, how can we could be attainment state or purpose of the happiness, enjoyment? How we can be freedom from the suffering? These are the questions, you know. So, would you think the happiness and the sufferings both can be born automatically, causelessly, just appears there sometimes, or the suffering and the happiness must be depend to the of right cause and right conditions? That is questions, you know. If you are logicians, I'm sure you agree, it cannot born automatically and causelessly the suffering and happiness, not possible. We can say, I'm lucky because I'm good life. Say, oh, I'm unlucky because I'm bad life. But why you are unlucky and why some of you lucky, there's questions, you know. That means is someone having lucky and someone having the lucky. That means is it depend to the he or her previous actions, past actions, and depend to the he or her and the present conditions, the achieving conditions, you know. Depend to the projecting cause and depend to the present conditions, the achieving conditions, these two. That not only the experiencing of happiness and suffering, but the compounded, each apparent of the compounded phenomena are originated the interdependently. That is not, I'm talking only traditional way. I'm not talking of philosophical way only. Even if you are the scientific way, then also I'm sure you agree all the compounded phenomena are originated the interdependently. That means is even one single atom cannot exist independently. No possible. Therefore, our experiencing the happiness, what we want, also cannot born independently, no possible. And the suffering, what we doesn't want to experience, also cannot be born independently. Both of happiness and experiencing of suffering are interdependently originated. This is very clear. Okay, I think you agree. If you agree, now another questions, then is which is the actual causes, the right causes of to the happiness, enjoyment, and which is of the actual causes of the suffering. So that we need to know is that the negative action is as the actual causes for suffering, and the positive action is as the actual causes of the happiness, enjoyment. That's very clear. 100% is clear. So therefore, everybody we want to become happy, enjoyment, we need to collection merits. We need to start now, right now, we need to training one's mind with compassion and with loving kindness and with pure wisdom. That's the only way, you know. Otherwise, in fact, the actual action of body, speech, heart is always spanning with of a negative way, and then our wish is become happy enjoyment. That is contradictory, you know. That's why in the text there says everybody want to become happy enjoyment, but is enemy destroy the root of happiness by themselves. This is the problem, the opposite. And everybody want to become freedom from suffering, but unfortunately, most of ordinary people, they're chasing to the cause, actual cause of suffering. Then, now again you say, why? Because we want to become happy. By why we destroy by oneself the root of happiness? We doesn't want to experience suffering. Why are we chasing to the cause of suffering? These are questions. The answer is ignorant. That is born, that comes from the ignorance. Ignorant, misconception, misunderstanding mind. You know, this is the problem. So therefore now we need to understand what is the actual cause of happiness, which is the actual cause of suffering. We need to clearly to distinguish which is a necessary abandonment object for harming yourself and for harming to others, which is a necessary engagement object for benefit yourself and for benefit other sentient beings. We need to know. We need to learning, we need to studying, we need training once a month, we need to practice. That is the antidote to the ignorant. Ignorance is at the root of delusions. Ignorance is at the root of afflictive emotions. So the doesn't matter what kind of aspect of afflictive emotion and delusions, but as long as our nature mind covered by the obscuration of delusions, and then we have no chance to collection merits. Most is unfortunately our body, speech, mind, actions spinning with of negative. This is the problem. Is the suffering, unpleasant feeling is born from created by the negative action or non-merits. Negative action is created by of delusion or distorting emotion mind. Distorting emotion mind or the afflictive emotion mind is created by the ignorant. Ignorant means is misconception mind or misunderstanding. This is very clear. So therefore suffering we say born interdependently. Suffering depends to the karma. Karma, negative karma. Negative karma depends to the of distorting emotion, delusion mind. Delusion mind depends to the of ignorant. Ignorant means is mistake and misconception mind. So therefore now if you want to be freedom from the suffering further future, and then we must need to change as much we can from negative action and towards into the positive action. We need to collect more positive actions, and we try gradually will be less and less negative actions, and the end finally to stop completely negative actions. Then how can we change of negative action? That's not easy. How can we cultivating positive action? That's not easy. The reason because unfortunately we are habituated of such negative emotion and negative actions, not only just this life, but life after of another life. We are born since from beginner's time in the samsara, under the dependent to of the ignorance and delusions of karma. So therefore, the negative emotion is very much strongly the habituated. The imprint of the negative emotions very strong stored on your base of all consciousness or the basics of our mind. So therefore, it's not easy to change. But if you ask, it is possible we can stop negative emotion. It is possible we can purification to purify completely of the obscuration of the delusion and obscuration of negative karma. Then I'm saying it's very, very 100% sure it's possible. Everybody, sooner or later, you have the potential power to be freedom from the obscuration of delusions and the obscuration of to the karma. Doesn't matter which tradition followers, but sooner or later everybody can. Freedom. The reason because the ignorance is not the nature of our mind. The delusion is not the reality of our mind. So the negative emotion just circumstantially appears at the moment and there. Sooner or later it will become separate from nature mind. But primordially pure, the nature of our mind, since from beginningless. That is a Buddhist point we say calling the name is a Buddha nature. We calling Buddha nature. Buddha nature pervading equally to each sentient being's mind. Not only human being, all the sentient beings' nature mind is Buddha. But first we need to know Buddha. Okay? What it means Buddha? Buddha means is pure wisdom and pure compassion. That is Buddha. Buddha is as the united about wisdom and about pure wisdom and about pure compassion. That is we calling Buddha. From Buddhism we calling Buddha. If you are different traditions, you can call different name. But upon the actual qualities, wisdom and compassion. Okay, that is why as how many different traditions on this world, doesn't matter, the essence is compassion. Compassion is as essence of the different traditions, different religions, I'm sure. That means is you can call different names. We say Buddha, or you can say as God, you can say Shiva, or Indra, Brahma, or maybe whatever you like, you can call the creator of the universe, or so on and so forth. Or sun or moon, even sometimes they pray to the sun and moon. But doesn't matter, you need to understand what is the quality of your God. It's wisdom, compassion. That is, but I'm Buddhist, so therefore I'm calling say Buddha, the Buddha nature, But what is the nature? That is the point meaning. Not the name, it doesn't matter what they named, but the quality, nature quality is wisdom and compassion. So these kind of the seed of compassion and wisdom is already pervading equally to each sentient being's mind. It's full. Means the seed is there. So now we need to start to germinate the seed of compassion and wisdom. Because our ordinary compassion, ordinary wisdom is very weak, not yet enough strong. The power is very weak. So we need to generate our compassion, we need to generate our wisdom. Because why our nature, compassion, wisdom at the moment is not strong? Because unfortunately it's obscured by the obscuration of delusion and obscuration of karma, negative karma. Karma means it's action actually also. It's action, it's negative action or negative emotion too strong and then covered through nature mind. So that's why I have not enough the power. So we need to purify the obscurations and we need to generate our compassion and our wisdom. Now questions, how can we to generate our compassion and wisdom? That comes from many different traditions. Because many different methods from different traditions. Each tradition, some explanations how to generate compassion, how to generate wisdom, I'm sure. But still, of course, compare inside is some depend, the method is different. Some is more skillful method and some is less power the method to developing of the compassion and wisdom. But these I can't judge, say this one is best tradition, that is not much. But that you yourself, you need to understand by your wisdom and by depend on your investigations, analyticals to judge which is most of skillful, which is most powerful to generate compassion and wisdom. That's up to you, depend to you. Also depend to your karmic connections, which is more suitable for you, which tradition is more comfortable to you, and which tradition is more easy to understand for you. That is depend. So we must be respect to equally all the different traditions, but you can keep your faith on your tradition, what do you like. At the same time, you need to respect to equally each different traditions because we need different kind of traditions because with different capacities, different capabilities, the followers. We can't say one tradition is the best one for everybody. That is stupid, not possible. Really, so therefore, like big hospital, we need so many different kind of medicine pills. We can't say one pill that is best for each patient, not possible. The patient's different disease, we need different medicine pills, So similarly, the traditions also we need as much different traditions we need because many different capacities, different faculty, different situation, different karmic connections. So many we depend. So therefore, it's respect equally to all the traditions, and make harmonies, and keep your faith as on your tradition. That just first today I want to tell you. And now, today we especially now going a little bit to talk about the 4 unmeasurable bodhicitta minds. That is one skillful method how to for training one's own mind with positive emotion. How can we do the skillful, some special method for purifications? How we can do collection merits very short way? How can to generate our compassion and loving kindness? What method, if you ask? And probably I want to share you these four lines, one verse with 4 lines. That we say for infinite bodhicitta mind, or we can say for boundless bodhicitta mind, or we can say for immeasurable bodhicitta mind, we can say. Okay? So now first, what is bodhicitta? Bodhicitta is a Sanskrit language, Hindu language. Okay? But it's actually that means is a bodhicitta is the enlightenment mind. Actually, that is a bodhicitta, the point, enlightenment mind. No, again, maybe you feel, what means enlightenment mind? Enlightenment mind is completely will be free from obscuration karma and will be freedom from obscuration of delusions. When you will be attainment state of these kind of qualities, that is bodhicitta, attainment state of bodhicitta mind, or will be enlightenment, you know. But everybody will have the potential seed of bodhicitta mind already now. Seed is sown on your heart since from beginningless. So therefore now we need to generate our bodhicitta mind, the compassion and loving kindness for enlightenment. Okay? So therefore now these four infinite bodhicitta, this prayer we have 4 lines. Each line tells us one of the infinite bodhicitta. The infinite of love, first one, here say, may all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. That is tells us infinite of love, or loving kindness. And the second line, may all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. This, the main point aspect of bodhicitta is the infinite of compassion, the second infinite. And third infinite bodhicitta, and the third line, may all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. That is infinite of joy or rejoice of bodhicitta mind. That is the third. And the fourth, the last one, infinite, is may all beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. So that is the infinite of great equanimity bodhicitta mind. So that 4 is 4 infinite bodhicitta mind. But now the questions is what means what point meaning of infinite or boundless, immeasurable. Because I mentioned to you each person, each sentient being's nature itself, mind itself is compassion, wisdom. That is clear. The seed is there. But I mentioned you ordinary compassion, love is not yet enough strong. The power, very weak. So therefore ordinary compassion, love is very limited. Because how you can love? To whom? Easily you say, oh, I love my children. I love my parents. I love my grandchildren. I love my grandparents, maybe. Or maybe if you have more good kindness person, say, I love my friend also too, right? Okay, good. Beautiful, your love and compassion. But then questions are, how many friends do you have? Do you have, then, I have, maybe if you're a very kindness person, say, I have 100 friends. That means is your love, your compassion can pervading to of this person, right? The 100 people, but then other, not much love and not much compassion, That means the sign of ordinary compassion love is very limited. So we need to generate from the limited compassion and love into the of unlimited way, or the limitless way. But we need to thinking about the logic. How we can regenerate the ordinary, the tiny compassion and wisdom and transfer into the of limitless of Bodhisattva's compassion and extraordinary beings' compassion, or how can generate into noble beings, Arya beings, or supreme beings, or God, doesn't matter, those. So have many different methods, but first we need to understand again better your investigations, analyticals, how important to benefit each others, how important to the benefit, the happiness, enjoyment is born from interdependent to each others. We need to know. So now in this way, you look in this prayer, each of the lines in the beginning, how say, may all beings, that is the point, may all beings. Here there doesn't say, may all my people. Right? There doesn't say, may all my friend. There doesn't say, may all my members of family. Right? Even there doesn't say, oh, may all my country. Even there doesn't say, may all human beings. There's a may all beings. Beings means is, I mentioned before, the 6 kind of different realm beings. Unfortunate, lower, and the hell realm beings sense until the peak of existent. That all is all beings. So may all beings, that if you can generate your compassion, your love, equally to all sentient beings, have no exceptions, that is infinite love and infinite compassion. But of course, talking is more easy. The effect is not that much easy. So therefore, we need to little bit to thinking about focus, the reason, the logic, why, how I can do, this kind of motivation, equally. So therefore now, today I just briefly share you, there's 4 or 5 different kind of reasons why we should be say may all beings, why we shouldn't say only may all my friend alone. The first reason, this I mentioned to you at the beginning, say all sentient beings, same like us, 100% sure, clear, they want to experience the happiness and nobody want to experiencing sufferings, same like us. What we want, other sentient beings too. What we doesn't want to experiencing suffering, other sentient beings too. Is it? That's clear, right? So therefore, there's no reason only we say, may I happy enjoy my people only. Then why other people have not? Because the reason this. What your people, what they want, the other people also too. That's the meaning. What your people doesn't want suffering, the other people also too. That's the one logic. Why we need to generate our compassion equally. The second reason, also we said the human right. We say we need to freedom. The human right of freedom from the human right of attainment, happiness, enjoyment, human right of the avoiding the sufferings and the obstacles. So this is, we already showed it since maybe 18, 19, 18 and 20th century. Always as the human rights, we need to freedom until state not yet completely free yet, right? But we're doing. But Buddha Shakyamuni, he already showed it. Not only human rights, on top human rights, it says sentient beings' rights. Here, may all beings, that is what comes, the lineage actually is from Buddha Shakyamuni. I'm sure some other traditions also maybe probably, I'm sure means as it maybe can be. But what I'm sure is from Buddha already, 2,600 years before already he showed it. For sentient beings' rights, not only human rights. Of course, human rights is Shakyamuni is sure. Man and woman, young and old, doesn't matter which white, yellow, black color, doesn't matter. This is already, of course, Buddha. But on top of human rights, he already showed it. Sentient beings' rights. Okay? So this is very clear. If you need the human rights to attainment, happiness, enjoyment, why not the small insect have no chance to attainment, happiness, enjoyment? Why not? Why not? You say human rights, but why not sentient beings, animals' rights, for example? So that's why we need to, the second reason, may all beings enjoy happiness. We need to share our energy, your motivation, pervading equally to all sentient beings, your compassion and love pervasive to sentient beings. This is the second reason, sentient beings' rights. If you are logicians, if you research carefully, then what I'm saying, I'm sure you agree, sentient beings' rights. And the third reason, to generate compassion and love equally all sentient beings. Because also I mentioned you beginning already, happiness, suffering, both are very much interdependently to each others. That means is other sentient beings' sufferings directly or indirectly could be the causes and conditions of one's own suffering. And also the other sentient beings' happiness, enjoyment also could be directly or doesn't matter, indirectly could be the causes and conditions, chance, opportunity to one's own happiness, enjoyment. Very much. That means is interdependent each other. For example, small member of family, then you clearly understand. If your family become happy, enjoyment, peace, and good harmonies, now how can become peace? Very important, your member of family taking care of each other carefully, kindly, nicely, gently, and with compassion, love each others. Then family hope, family peace, family harmonies, 100% sure is coming. Otherwise, is each member of a family, you have too much selfishness, selfishness or self-cherishing, too much self-cherishing, too strong, and doesn't care so much as careless to the member of your family, each other's, then what come your family? Fighting each other, quarreling to each other, it's unrelated to each other, because it's the motivation not good enough, then you lost family peace even. So this tells us important, we need to keep your compassion, love, because it's depend to each other. Your neighborhood is something, the families have chance more peace, and that also can depend indirectly, your family also have chance peace. Your neighbor country's problems, they're big, then I'm sure your country also will be sooner or later problem. That's very clear. That means is the world peace is born from depend each others. Cannot be born only oneself alone, the one country, no possible. Especially modern time, at this century now, 21st century, very much depend to each other. Everything's depend to each other. If your country is to grow up the economies, and that chance to other country, also your neighboring country become going up. If your country is down, the economies and then other neighbors also gradually will be sooner or later down. There's a problem falling down. This tells us everything is dependent to each other, So, therefore, but this reason, also if you want to become happy, enjoyment even, but still you must be responsibility to benefit to other sentient beings, because that is the chance of your happiness and your enjoyment. So, Buddha Shakyamuni said, in brief, he says, instruction to us says, our happiness, our enjoyment is born from attitude benefit to others. Our obstacles and the problems, the sufferings, born the root too much self-cherishing. Self-cherishing that doesn't care others, only is the selfishness feeling and self-cherishing oneself alone. And then problems coming, many obstacles. Sense of small family until of countries problems is too much self-cherishing and doesn't care others. This is a problem. It's very true. So therefore, by this reason, everybody we want to become happy, enjoyment. If this true, then we also must be taking, responsibility to others around us. We need to share compassion and love others. That is another reason. May all beings also. Everything is depend. Of course, sentient beings depend to each other. Even as sentient being depend to the maybe I don't know this is read English or not, or non-sentient being. Sometimes I just made myself new English. My broken English sometimes used, but I'm saying, of course, sentient beings depend to each other. Even as the sentient being depend to very much as the materiality, external materiality and internal mentality depend to each other very much. Like, for example, environment. If you have good environment, then it's of course sentient beings have happy enjoyment coming. If you destroy of the environment of the place around everything, and then it's directly and indirectly you hurt yourself. It's clear, right? So therefore, this means is everything of the component phenomena apparent are originated by dependently each other. Dependently. So this reason, this logic, also we may all beings have happiness. We need to share our compassion and love to other sentient beings. Okay? And then the last reason. This little bit complicated to understand and to explanations. You need to little bit more patience. Okay? First I'm saying. The reason why, I don't know how many people you believe, if you believe is the reincarnation. If you believe the reincarnation, then no problem. You easily understand what I'm talking now, the last one. But if you doesn't believe the reincarnation, then what I'm saying now is that doesn't work at the moment, So that means is say, why you can share your compassion and love easily to your people or your friend, your children, your parents? Or then you easily say, oh, because that's my relatives. Because we very much love each other. We very much taking care of each other. We close to each other very much. We are same family. That is your logic, right? Why you love your family more? Because you say, oh, that's my family. Because we love each other. We are okay, that's a good logic actually. But then why you doesn't love other sentient beings the same like your family? Then I'm sure you say, oh, that's very clear. That's not my family. Okay, so in this way now, if you focus on the understanding reincarnation, then we are born into samsara since from beginningless time. Then no begin. How many times we born into samsara? 100 times, 1,000 times, billion times, countless times born again and again and again after birth. Okay? So do you think each life can be same parents? No, right? No possible. So therefore, sentient beings countlessly existent, but our birth number is also countless. So countless times we born already, we are countless times already related to different beings, each other. So that's why we are already connected each other, father and mother relationships, or husband-wife relationships, already related to brother, sister related, or so on and so forth. Already. But this logic, if you believe reincarnation, then 100% this logic can work, So therefore now, that's why we say, may all mother sentient beings. We sometimes used to not say only may all beings, but we say may all mother sentient beings. Then maybe you're laughing in the beginning, why you say this? You have sure as one mother only. I'm saying may all my mother. That means is we thinking about past life and present life. Also we should be thinking of future life. Again, coming relations each other's coming. So therefore, the problems we have forgetfulness, ignorant. We can't remember our past parents. We also yet not born next rebirth. So and only this life we have one parents. So but that is not only our life. Life is we are born from past since beginningless and will be going life after of another life. We will be born again. So therefore, coming relationships, there's no certainty always enemy is as enemy. No possible. Or maybe this life enemy, but next life is become friend, become parents. So there's no certainty. Even if we forgot to talking about past, future life, but even one's life is the changeable. Our friend can be enemy, and the enemy become friend. So therefore, why we angry only one person for always, and why we attachment to one person always? So we must need to generate our compassion love equally. Both doesn't matter as a friend or enemy. Because in fact nature is the same connection. Wish is the same and connection is the same. So important we need to generate. So in this way now, at the last moments, I want to little bit to share you what I understand, how I know, how I believe reincarnation. Okay, the reincarnation. We say we are born from past life. We will be born again in the next rebirth. Not once life. Our life is once time only. But how we know is the reincarnation. How many other many people having doubt to the reincarnation? Important research, we check. Because if you believe your mind, our consciousness, and our physical is as the same definition, same quality, and same nature, and then I'm sure there's no possible reincarnation. Cannot. But actually, in fact, the definition is of body and mind is not same nature and cannot be same quality. Totally different definition, totally different characteristics. Our physical body, as you know, I'm sure, is composed by the four elements. The flesh element mainly composed by the earth. And the blood element composed by the water. The temperature of our body composed by the fire element. And the breathing circulation element is composed by the wind element. So this substantial physical lineage comes from our parents. The sperm, the genes, lineage from father, and the red egg, the ovum, lineage from mother. That's clear. So this continuity substantial physical lineage comes from our grandfather, grandmother, and hundreds, billions years before. Maybe some of your scientific, if you believe the German system, then maybe you have more clear understanding than me. It's from maybe transformations comes from maybe animal. The animals like monkeys, the physical system change transformations from them. Maybe this also, this has not beginnings comes from maybe sea animals, isn't it? Maybe say jellyfish. But the substantial physical lineage on not first is jellyfish, cannot be jellyfish also maybe from small tiny seal, quark. But the quark how can be existent there is maybe it's scientific way, maybe say after the created by the Big Bang, right? The Big Bang. If you believe Big Bang, and then I'm sure means I feel, that the Big Bang also cannot be appears there automatically, causelessly, not possible. So the Big Bang must be maybe created to depend to another Big Bang, so probably. So anyway, this kind is the substantial physical lineage, how comes from past. That is not reincarnation from them. So therefore, during the death, appears very clear, our flesh will be dissolved into the earth. Our blood element will be dissolved into the water. Our temperature of our body will be dissolved into the fire element. Our breathing circulation element will be dissolved into the wind. And the cavity of body will be dissolved into the space. That means he or she dead now. Completely disappear, we say. But not actually completely disappear, but the course level, the gross level continuity physical lineage is disappear. But disappear into the atoms. That is still existent continuity, the substantial lineage of the atoms. Beginningless and endlessly, the circulation. That is the universe, the fundamental of the universe. So this fundamental of the universe, the earth, the moon, or the galaxies, and all these small body is same situation, including the 4 stages: creation stage, abiding stage, and disintegration stage, and explosed or the voidness stage. There's 4. Same. Very beginning start to performing from atoms, collected of the atoms. How created this earth, how created this body. Therefore the end also is when they explode into the atoms. That's the nature, law of cause and effect, the physically. So therefore many people, if you having feeling your mind or your consciousness definition is as same of your body, then your nature feeling there's no reincarnation. But I say, what do you think your mental body? The mind is cannot created by the materiality, fire, earth, wind, water cannot. Because our nature mind is clarity, awareness. I'm saying clear and knowing. Or clarity, awareness is as the definition of our mind. The clarity, awareness is at the characteristics of our mind. So this is clear, how say my mind nature is clarity? Or because we can clearly receive the object of reflection form, sound, smell, taste, contact, and tactile sensation, so forth. We no need to ask other people. You can experience things, the reflection object of knowledge appears on your mind. This tells us your nature mind is clarity. More clarity than the mirror. The reflection of form can appear on the mirror, but cannot reflection sound appears on the mirror. But our mind is more clarity than the mirror. So that's why each of different kind of object of knowledge, the reflection object of knowledge can appear on your mind clearly. That's clarity. Not only clarity, but you can to aware. You can distinguish which is a pleasant object, which is an unpleasant object, and which is a neutral object. Because we have 3 different kind of feelings. We can experiencing pleasant feeling, we can experiencing unpleasant feeling, and we can experiencing sometimes neutral feeling. But why? Because when the apparent, the reflection object is pleasant, and then your feeling also is pleasant. And when the apparent, the object, reflection object is unpleasant, and then your feeling, you will be experiencing unpleasant feeling. When the reflection of the object, sound, smell, or so on and so forth, the apparent is neutral, which means not attractive and not non-attractive object. And the reflection is neutral, equanimity, and then your feeling also not pleasant, not unpleasant feeling, but you experiencing is a neutral equanimity feeling, right? That means is the power. We have awareness. We can knowing clearly. We can know. So this is a clarity. Awareness is the definition of our mind. That is the characteristics of consciousness. This meaning is consciousness. This is the mind. Mind, perception, recognition. Doesn't matter. You use many different aspects, different functions, but is the one nature is only one. Is clarity, awareness. That is what we calling common word with a consciousness. So everybody, we have consciousness. With the consciousness, that is a sentient being. Without consciousness, and that is not sentient being anymore. So on this way now, this consciousness, that consciousness, would you think can born from this four element? I'm saying no, because the different definition. Apple fruit can born from apple seed, but it cannot born orange seed. Then if you ask why apple fruit can born apple seed, but why not from the orange seed? How you answer? I'm saying because the lineage, the substantial, the physical, the substantial lineage, orange lineage is from orange seed, and apple seed is from apple fruit is from apple seed. It cannot change. Then if you ask further, why not can change? How you answer? That's a natural law of cause and effect. That's nature. That's a reality law. That is not country's law. That is not king's law. That is not even religious law. Not only, I'm saying not only religious law. That is not only country's law. That is not only scientific law. That is a natural law of cause and effect. So you believe or not, but you cannot beyond about this natural law. That's why we say nature. Somebody, if you can beyond natural law, that nature is not nature. Because you can change. But nobody can change. Doesn't matter you are high or low, rich or poor, intelligent or stupid, but cannot change. The reality is as reality. So that's the natural law of cause and effect. So therefore, now our consciousness, our mind, cannot born from four elements. That means that our consciousness cannot born our parents, not born our father and mother. The two genes, the lineage from father and mother, have no clarity. Nature is not awareness. So therefore, our clarity, awareness, mind comes from where? Just previous, the last moment, clarity, awareness is as the cause, and the present moment, clarity, awareness in the embryo and the mother's womb. First moment, that is effect. So this is the reincarnated. We are reincarnated. Everybody, we are reincarnated from past life. So therefore, during the death, when the physical body physically will be dissolved into the four elements I mentioned to you. But would you think the consciousness can be dissolved into the four elements? No possible. The reason, because beginning our consciousness not born from four elements. Therefore, the end also they cannot dissolve into the four elements. That's contradictory, not possible. So therefore, there's already continuity, existing clarity, awareness. Then why there's automatically disappear? Not possible. So therefore, the last moment of clarity, awareness in this life and during the death, that is a cause. And the first moment of clarity, awareness, just immediate next rebirth, all the part of existence is as effect. So that is a reincarnation, just immediate next rebirth. So with this logic, if you future as a research more further, I'm sure one day you get the conviction and the certainty born your heart. Oh, that is true. Everybody should be reincarnated. We are born past life and will be born in next rebirth. So in this way, important, we need to train in one's own mind. As we need to take care of one's own mind with the compassion and with loving kindness, because it's more important to train in mind than the physical body. Of course, we taking care of body important because the body is a healthy problem, then you have suffering sick. But this is a physical pain. But the mental pain is more danger and more problem. Pain have no end. Actually, is various different kind of pains, sufferings in this world. But the various different kind of aspect of pains, we can division into two: physical pain and the mental pain. That is Aryan Deva, is Indian, very scholar, master. He says, for the wealthy, there is mental pain. For the depraved, there is physical pain. Day and night, those two pains torment this world. So, therefore, in the firmer term, is most problems is the physical pain, which means not enough food, drink, warm cloth, and red place, and so worry very much the pain, physical pain. This century almost is average. The country is enough good food, good drink, good place, but still they have pain is bad problems, mental pain. That's a depression, okay? Mental depression. So no, if you physical pain, you don't need to ask to the traditions, Buddhism, Dharma, because try to find food, clothes, medicine, go to doctor, they help you. But if you have everything's enough, the external, physical, the system to support to, but then still if you have pain, that is your mental. So if mental pains, go to doctor, they give you injection and give you pills, but doesn't work. Okay? So therefore mental pains is important from the psychology, especially dharmic psychology, or some religious psychology, mental psychology is very, very powerful, you know. That is why sometimes some people say, oh, religious talk the ancient time, you know, now it's gone already, that doesn't work anymore. I don't think. It's more than this 21st century is the mentality pain, you know, the depression is more problem. So therefore we need mental psychology is more important, you know, modern time. So mental psychology is, I'm sure your culture different they have, but it's like dharmic mental psychology is very deep, very vast, very profound, very extensive, very logical, very reasonable, very helpful. You know, that's why it's the interest, those young generation even, you know, they like meditation, like practice, like training mind, because they help, can support, you know, the mental pain. So therefore, why we're having two pains? This tells you because you have two bodies, external physical body and internal mental body. That's why we have pains from body physically and pains from mentally. So we need to take care of both, of physically and verbally. And physically how to take care, I'm not explaining to you, but you sure you are more clever than. But it's mentally how to take care. This maybe, as I was learned as a professor, as for 40 years, 30 years, so therefore maybe probably I can share you some later, you know. That's why I'm like go there and here to talk, you know, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, so therefore try, as a sense now, as to how training one's own mind with a positive emotion, as the probably I'm saying compassion, loving kindness, empathy, sympathy mind, and pure wisdom. That is as the essence of the benefit, happiness, enjoyment yourself, benefit others, sure, 100%. And negative emotions such as desire, anger, ignorance, jealous, hatred, harmful thought, or harming mind, this kind of all is trouble and make it obscure to you and make disturbed for your heart and others' heart too, because negative, you know, uncomfortable feeling is coming. So therefore we need to let it be calm, abiding, and relaxed and rest, you know, on top of your livelihood, you know. So keep, and then physically and mentally both, if you can balance the two, developing the stages of external materiality civilizations and to develop in the mentality, the mental spiritual qualities, both if you can balance, and then you will be happy. Ultimately, you will be attainment, ultimately peace, and ultimate enjoyment. Not only this life, I'm sure logically, as a future life also too. So that is today. I just share you. And then tomorrow, I think not here, but a little bit other place. We have
Saratoga.
Okay, Saratoga. There's one. Tomorrow is the meditation. There will be the actual meditation, mindfulness and meditation. So this is with tomorrow's little bit. And if you're interested, if you have time, and then to join there, and tomorrow the last talk. So I leave here. That's the maybe the time. Is it? Or anybody, if you have any questions or some, we're going to little bit question answer. But
anybody? I have a lot of questions, but I'll let the other people ask.
But actually, so what is we have to be finished? Must be.
No problem. I think it's about 9 o'clock, so maybe another 10-15 minutes.
Okay, then 15 minutes we go question answers. Anybody, if you have any questions?
Anybody?
On 10 minutes maybe.
I'll start since nobody's asking. The
Okay,
question I have.
all right.
What is the, I understand the physical body, and I understand the emotion or the consciousness.
Mhm.
But what is the purpose of the consciousness? Why is the consciousness created?
So the consciousness purpose means is because the main purpose I mentioned before, everybody doesn't matter whose, but is the to be attainment, happiness, enjoyment.
But
And
why?
especially ultimate, because of the question of would you like to be experienced happy, enjoy, or is no problem for you suffering? That is my questions.
No, but tattva.
But because then I can get an answer that says, you says, you like become happy, enjoyment, is it?
No, I see. You're right in the thing that everybody wants to be happy.
Yes, that's clear, right?
Right. But why does everybody wants to be happy? Why is that program?
Oh, because the feeling comfortable. That's why.
But that is a program.
Yes, because there are no need programs. They're special, but natural feeling. They want to pleasant feeling. That doesn't want to experiencing unpleasant feeling. That is why the reason they want to become happy. Happiness is bring from the pleasant feeling. Unhappiness or suffering is born unpleasant feeling. So because of what, then if you further ask why we feel these two, as I mentioned to you, the definition of our mind is clarity, awareness. Then if you further ask why is nature mind is clarity, awareness, then the answer again I'm saying nature. That is the nature of the reality of mind. So nature of born is clarity, awareness. So we can to aware pleasant, unpleasant. Therefore, we like to experience pleasant feeling, and nobody want to experience unpleasant feeling. That is why they want to become happy, enjoyment. Nobody want to experiencing suffering. That is the why.
But is there no end to this process? We keep on being.
Can. That means is enlightenment mind. Completely will be one day, sooner or later, we have chance, opportunity, will be attainment, enlightenment mind. That means when you completely free the obscuration of delusions, and will be freedom from the ignorant, and that means your attainment, ultimate peace, enjoyment. That is enlightenment mind. That can. But now maybe you again say why we can enlightenment. That means I mentioned you the main meaning already. The ignorant is not the nature of our mind. Delusion is not the nature of our mind. You can see yesterday you are very angry, but today you can happy. Or maybe this morning you are very peace, or the afternoon you are very upset. This means that is not nature of mind. Our nature is primordially pure, and primordially essence is compassion. So therefore, sooner or later, is the circumstantial appearance of the delusions will be separate. If you can separate one day, that means enlightenment. So that means you will be completely liberated from the false obscuration, delusion or obscuration of the karma and sufferings. That is enlightenment mind. For example, like Buddha Shakyamuni. For example, many Bodhisattvas. For example, many gods, maybe, but not worldly gods. Beyond worldly gods, okay? This is also important, So, yeah.
So I guess I have a question. So would the enlightened mind be equal to moksha in Hindu philosophy?
That I mentioned you before. Doesn't matter, the name is not important, what do you call. But important things you need to understand the quality. I mentioned you before, wisdom and compassion. That is the essence of deities. That is the essence of the qualities of the deities or gods, Buddha, it doesn't matter what calling. But in case, unfortunately, if lack this wisdom and compassion both are one, then doesn't matter what they call, even say Buddha, but that's not really real Buddha. Just as named Buddha. But
then moksha would be freedom from samsara, from the cycle of birth and death.
Okay, listen. So now you need to check yourself. Moksha is full of compassion, pure compassion, and completely full pure wisdom. Then I'm sure already liberated from samsara. Okay, that is.
Because you're detached.
But moksha is full of compassion and wisdom. I'm not yet research. Okay, for my side, I yet, because this is from little bit is the Hinduism traditions. So you need to check research is moksha, the nature is a full compassion, full pure wisdom or not. If full, then I can say 100% sure moksha is completely liberated himself from samsara, and he is same quality of Buddha. Doesn't matter what name, different name. Okay. So even we say Buddha Shakyamuni, but the quality is not full compassion and wisdom, and then just name Buddha, but not real. In fact, okay. So therefore, you need yourself check each traditions of something important, a holy object. Then check. So what is the quality? I'm sure quality is wisdom and compassion. That is.
No, let me rephrase the question. Would an enlightened mind be reborn?
Reborn means is we are reborn in the samsara over and over.
Again, even if you're an enlightened
Listen
mind.
first, okay? Ordinary people reborn samsara. That is, we say reincarnation. Ordinary is reincarnated is dependent to the karma and delusions. We have no freedom yet. Where we born, when we will be born, we have no freedom. That means is we are still dependent to the karma and delusions. But extraordinary beings, okay, extraordinary beings, they can reborn in samsara, benefit to other sentient beings, but they will be born freely.
By their
Depend their wisdom and compassion.
The example could be Ramana Maharishi and Mahapariva.
Okay, so that is.
So that's
Thank you very much. So we're going now to the dedication prayers. You just relax a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, your comfortable feeling. Keep your relaxation feeling and focus on your meditation feeling. I'm just going one prayer, dedication prayer for long life, for healthy life, for world peace, family peace, for everybody, and if you believe, and for rebirth, higher realm, so on and so forth, enlightenment, dedication. So you just focus on your comfortable feeling, or you focus on the sound of my melody, the prayers. Sonan de dhamche zibanye thone nibe dharna phashe shirga nanje parno chukbaye sebe chole droa dorjo Tusen derwaye gerza chirne samba go majer semje thamje la sanje thobe Jumper power children came by no Kunda Zambo Tea Devjande Teda Gonje Jesus Darrosh Gewan Deda Tamche aramde tusa shambe anjarwa tamche anje ngowa kala anchode ngambande dage Sawandi Goyanja Zamba Shuje Ramdang Owanju Kunza Dorje Yanchanje Manche Chinche Sawe Lama Yanche Drove Donde Mono Kanda 대다 담제 Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much, everybody, to coming, and also thank you very much for inviting this beautiful temple. Hope to see you again.
Thank you very much. If anybody wants to support,
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
the box there,
When I went
okay.
to Kailash,
Oh, okay.